Hey, welcome back to Matter of Fact. Today I got for y'all the best landing spots for Matt Stafford if the Rams happen to trade him. Now, me personally, I think it's just contract negotiations. I think he's trying to play hardball with the negotiations, and that's why it leaked out. Because to be honest, they both have a lot of negotiating power. With the Rams, it's like, yo, Stafford, we did this together. We got a ring together. We were this close to beating the current NFL champions. Where are you going to go that's better than this? And with the Rams, it's like what Stafford's probably thinking, his agent's probably saying, well, what are you going to do? Just roll out Jimmy G? That's their quarterback too. What are you going to do? Draft another guy? How'd that work with Stetson Benson or whatever his name is, the one who won the Natty? But it's not even March yet. We're not even at the combine. Not much to talk about. Anything's possible technically. After that Lucas shit, man, you can't be too sure. You can't be too sure. So we're gonna give this shit a look. Presentation mode. There we go. What is going on? What are you doing? One second. Different window. Yeah, different window, fool. There we go. All right. Let's get this shit cracking. All right. So let's run down the tiers. It's a bottom up type thing. So the more, I'll just kick it off. So we'll start off at bona fide franchise quarterback. This is the least likely landing spots. This tier is basically impossible. They got their guy. Like they're not going for 37-year-old Matt Stafford. So next is potential future franchise quarterback. This guy isn't really solidified, but they believe in him enough where they're not moving on for somebody at Stafford's age or the money. That's the other thing. Apparently, he's looking for 50 mil a year. This man Stafford is great. I'm sorry, like I get it. None of us could really like could even fathom this kind of money, right? And he plays up to it. Like he deserves his bread, but I mean, he was extremely well paid in Detroit that entire time. So 50 mil, like damn, bro. Like, I gotta look up his career earnings. He has to be up like 300 M's for his entire career. So it's kind of crazy. But like I said, bottom up, the lower on the tier list, least likely to the best fits, and the best fits to me is a very short list. So once again, potential bona fide franchise quarterback, that's set. Potential future franchise quarterback, meaning we got a guy, we believe in him. He's not a guarantee, but he showed flashes. There's promise. Next tier's quarterback needy. Quarterback needy, not ready to win though. Not ready to win. So this is like a roster issue for the most part. This is like, all right, well the roster's not really good enough. We need a quarterback, like, because if you don't have a quarterback, you can't do shit in this league. We need one, but this isn't the time for us to get one, type of thing. Um, Interesting, but unrealistic. Now, these are fits that like, yeah, I could see it. Like you add Matt Stafford and their Super Bowl odds on those Vegas books would go up, but for one reason or another, I just can't see it happening. Whether it's money or whether you'll see. And then best fits. These are the fits where it makes sense for them to go after him because you're going to have to trade assets and you're going to have to pay the guy. And he does have an injury history. We can't forget that part. He does have he has his little little injury history. Um, and once again, I don't want him to not be on the Rams. Like, I don't understand why. Something about their vibes though feels very. It almost feels like it's like they didn't win that ring. You know, the vibe isn't like, yo, we did it. You know what I mean? It's something's kind of off. Something's a little bit ominous over there in LA. It's like there's something we don't know about. It's kind of weird. Or it could just be, you know, he's just playing hardball with the money. But yeah, let's kick it off. So, franchise quarterback, bona fide franchise quarterback. So we have the Chiefs, obviously. We got the Chargers here, Justin Herbert. So Pat Mahomes, Herbert, Josh Allen with the Bills, Lamar with the Ravens, Burrow with the Bengals. I'm gonna say C.J. Stroud with the Texans. He's shown enough. 2 playoff wins, one each his first 2 years. We have Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts. We have Dak Prescott. He gets a lot of hate, unwarranted hate, in my opinion. You could argue this one, but I'd say they're pretty solidified with this guy. He has his limitations, but Jared Goff and the Lions. Jaden Daniels, year 1. And this is going to be the only rookie quarterback that I have in this tier. He had the best rookie campaign ever. I don't even think that's really debatable. Next up, Baker with the Bucks. Keep winning the division. Seems like there's somewhat of a ceiling, but you know, they had some more impact players at key positions. You never know with them. Who else? I feel like I'm disrespecting someone. Not really disrespectful. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. That's one of the more questionable ones for sure, but I like Kyler Murray a lot. I believe in him. This was his first like full year back, like full season healthy. And I think he did all right. You know, just give Jonathan Gannon and them boys some more time, get some more chemistry with Marvin Harrison. And they played pretty well on defense despite not really having the talent. They made a lot out of nothing with that defense. So that's it for that tier. Let me just make sure. Yeah, that's it for that tier. Next up, potential future franchise quarterback. Panthers, Bryce Young. Showed some flashes. That first year, obviously, and this is going to be an opportunity for me to just yap about the quarterbacks a little bit. Should have mentioned that. Just the state of the quarterbacks, how I feel like these teams feel about their quarterback. But yeah, man, it was nice to see Bryce Young look happy. He's been looking depressed for like the past like 18 months before the middle of the season. Before that middle of the season, past 18 months, just the depressing scene over there. So shout out to Bryce Young and Dave Canales. Caleb Williams and the Bears. He's overhated, man. I think it's a Bryce Young, CJ Stroud situation. 1 and 2. Caleb went 1, Bryce Young went 1, CJ Stroud, Jaden Daniels seemed like the better option. But besides looking at his numbers, if you just looked at how they played, I really blame the Bears front office for his rookie campaign. And once again, they only had 4 draft picks. So they shouldn't have kept Eberflus, and hopefully he gets his confidence back this year. He just didn't look super confident in the pocket. He took way too many sacks. He was holding on to the ball for way too long. He just seemed out of funk. So, but I saw enough flashes. Kind of similar to how I feel about Drake May and the Patriots. They got their guy. Wanted him on the Giants. And he showed me why I wanted him so bad. No diddy. Oh, Jags. We'll put him at franchise. I mean, he has a playoff win, and he's kind of riding the hell out of that Clemson, the Clemson days. But man, fuck it. Bo Nix and the Broncos, potential franchise quarterback. Need to see another year. I mean, he blew all expectations out the water, but we need to see that he's not a Sean Payton merchant. Me personally, I've seen enough where I'm like, yeah, this kid's nice. This kid's nice, and we're seeing a pattern where you want these quarterbacks to have like a lot of snaps, a lot of games in college, and they just come to the NFL more ready and more polished. A lot of that has to do with that COVID year, but hopefully we see more quarterbacks staying longer. That's why Drew Aller went back, for example. This is why when it comes to Arch Manning and fellow Giants fans that are like, yeah, let's just wait for Arch. You think he's just going to play one full year and just declare? I don't think so. I think he stays there for at least 2 years. So, you know, um, next up, Colts with Anthony Richardson. Probably the strongest arm in the league and a ridiculous run threat. Second coming to Cam Newton a little bit. Needs to stay healthy. He needs to be more accurate. I think he's like completing 45% of his passes, something ridiculous like that. It's fucking ridiculous. Packers, Jordan Love, super inconsistent, but has promise. Just paid him. Falcons with Michael Penix. I like what I saw. I always thought he was one of the more ready to start like now quarterbacks, which is why I didn't like them getting Kirk Cousins and paying him all that money. Didn't make a lot of sense to me. But, I mean, here we are. I think you could have started him week 1 and he would have been fine and you would have got more reps up for him. So, this is why I don't really believe in the Falcons doing anything in the near future. It's shit like that. Who else? Who else do I have? Is this it? Yeah, I think this is it. 7, yeah. So that's it for that tier. Now, next up is the quarterback needy but not ready to win. Quarterback needy, not ready to win. Just roster. Damn near all these teams are just picking in the top 10. So it's like, yeah, we need a quarterback. We do have a little bit of money. We could technically pay you, but it wouldn't be wise. We'll start off with the Raiders. Raiders, O-line's decent. Brock Bowers, all-time tight end rookie season. Looks like a future Hall of Famer already. Then you have Jacoby Myers there. And if you were to trade for him, I doubt you'd want to trade that 6th pick. So if you could get Ashton Genty, have him there with Stafford, Jacoby, Trey Tucker, Michael Mayer, Bowers, and then you have Genty there, and then you still have, I guess, whatever his name is, Zamir White. I guess that wouldn't really matter that much. Change of pace back maybe. But that would be cute and all, but you're still in that division with the Chargers, Chiefs, and Broncos. So I think you keep your assets and you keep stacking that roster for your future franchise quarterback that you get through the draft. I think they should just get it through the draft, which is why I have them in this tier. Saints, I would actually, they'd be up a tier if their roster was a little bit better. I just think they have that funny combo of like no cap space, but the roster really isn't like too crazy. A lot of good old trusty vets and whatnot, but yeah, man, I would. This isn't the time to to be more in debt. You keep digging that hole. He wants 50 mil. Apparently, he said that he'd take less if he could stay with the Rams, which is why I think it's just a negotiation tactic that he's doing all this. And it's like, damn. I mean, I know it's expensive there in LA, but damn, Stafford, what are you spending all that bread on? And your girl on that podcast, like she bringing home the bacon too, ain't she? My Giants. This is the team that you've heard the most. So I'm torn because I'm a big Stafford guy. I really fuck with Matt Stafford. back when it was him and Megatron back in the day. And he's always been tough. He's always been just an elite thrower of the football. And he showed that first year with the Rams, got him to the promised land. But it just doesn't make sense for either parties. It doesn't make sense for Matt Stafford. Why would you want to go there? Why would you want to go there right now? And with the Giants, we have the third pick. I mean, we're third overall pick. For one, definitely not giving that up. Don't want to hear any of that noise. Don't want to hear it. But it's also like, so let's say we get it like a Shador or a Cam Ward. I mean, I guess he could sit there and mentor, but we're paying him. It just doesn't make sense, bro. Like, in terms of where we're at, I want to keep these assets because if we're not giving up this year's number 3 overall pick, definitely shouldn't give up any first, like, at all. I wouldn't want to give up any first, but, like, I don't want to give up any seconds either. Like, it just seems unnecessary with the current state of the team, and we've seen how these other teams have been doing it. Just build it through the draft, get the right guy, hit on some draft picks, and smart free agency moves, and you're in the mix, and you have them for that rookie scale contract. So even though we've seen the Giants a bunch, I wouldn't mind it as long as we still draft a quarterback there at 3. And then obviously it would look even. I'd actually be kind of elated if somehow, maybe the Raiders trade up to 1 or 2 and both quarterbacks go in the top 2, or maybe the Raiders don't trade up and the Titans and the Browns just go quarterback 1 and 2. I don't really see it happening. It's definitely possible, but something just tells me it's not going to happen. But we'll see. And then the last one in this tier is the Titans. Number 1 overall pick. There's not much else needs to be said. Why? Why? Just doesn't make sense. Yeah, so that's it for that tier. Next up, interesting but unrealistic. So these are teams where the roster is actually sort of ready to win, if they stay healthy. But each team has a different reason for why I just don't see it, right? So first up, and this is the perfect example of what I mean. With the Dolphins, they just paid Tua, right? Do I think they have a roster to win a Super Bowl? I think it could be good enough. Like, it's hard to say based off that the quarterback play they were getting without Tua. Is Mike McDaniel's offense limited with Tua? Like, is he just not opening it up? Has the league and these defenses figured out his scheme, or what? But Matt Stafford, they were Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Jonnu Smith. I feel like he could really take this offense to new heights, but it's just not realistic to me. I just don't see him going to Miami. It might be smooth for him just based off how old he is, kind of like a Tom Brady situation, going to Tampa, no sales income tax, nice for the wife, shit like that. Like, hey, maybe he's the one that could really take, because think about it like this. When he went to the Rams, were we just thinking they were just easy shoo-ins to win the ring? I don't remember that exactly being the case. They were stacked, though. They were stacked back in prime Robert Woods, prime Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, obviously, and then Bobby Wagner. They had guys everywhere. So Dolphins, not quite that, but it is a weaker division that they're in. So I think it would be interesting, but given that they just paid Tua, what are you going to do with Tua? So, but shit, league's cutthroat. So if you feel like he gives you a best chance to win, why not? But just the way they're kind of ran, I just don't see it. Next, Browns. Browns are interesting, and I see that they're interested. I saw that they're one of the teams that reached out. Now that Browns roster, ever since Baker was there, has been pretty stacked. You know, so a good draft, a good free agency period, and a quarterback. We just saw them in the playoffs 2 years ago, where Joe Flacco took them there, and they looked pretty good. We saw Jerry Jeudy kind of revive his career with Jameis Smith. So Jameis Winston, I mean. So imagine what he could do with him at Stafford, though. You know, they were just in the playoffs. You got to remember that. So, and Myles Garrett, he clearly wants to win. He's not he's not worried about getting to the Hall of Fame because whatever team he lands on, he's going to go to the Hall of Fame. So I don't know why their GM or owner, whoever said that. He clearly didn't fuck with it. So this would show, hey, man, we're locked in. You feel me? They're locked in. Now, it's funny, the Browns, I could see them being the only team dumb enough to trade that premium pick, that first-round pick. I could see them doing some stupid shit. You can't put anything past the Browns nowadays. But in terms of the money, like, you're so tied up with Deshaun Watson, that's what makes this unrealistic. But besides that, it wouldn't be a terrible landing spot if they weren't strapped for cash and they didn't have all that money tied up with Deshaun Watson. Because imagine if they traded for Matt Stafford, and then with that other pick, you have Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett, then that defense just goes crazy. And then you have like an even better version of how that Rams defense was balling out for Matt Stafford this past year, potentially. You still have Denzel Ward there in the back. Like you have this defense can't pick it up, but you know, when the defense has nothing to play for and they're continuously on the field because your Deshaun Watson is, you know, a pumpkin, you know, eventually they're not playing as inspired, but they still a pretty stacked roster, man. So, but because of the money and really just because of the money. Besides that, like, that wouldn't be a bad landing spot. Cleveland. He already had to play in Detroit. So does it get any worse than Detroit in terms of a city to play for? Seahawks. This would be dope. The only issue is this is in division. So it's interesting, unrealistic, because it's in division. I think they're getting to a point where they're ready to move off of Geno. Like, you know, Geno's part of the Pete Carroll era for the most part, the post-Russell Wilson type situation. They got rid of Pete Carroll, even though I don't even think they were sub 500 the season that they let him go. But I think it was just time for change. It might be time for change for Geno. And it wouldn't be a bad spot. I mean, their offense has a lot of explosion. JSN, I'm expecting him to have like 1,400 yards this upcoming year. He's like one of my favorite fantasy pickups. Like, I'm targeting the fuck out of JSN in all my leagues, which I usually don't do for players, is having them in multiple leagues. But I think he's like a can't miss good value. Like, I think you could get him at a good value because people kind of forget by the time the next season comes up with who was really like that and how everybody was looking, you know. But in division, don't see it happening for that reason, but would be interesting. I think they can make some shit shake with Matt Stafford, but nah. Jets. I know this one's kind of surprising probably. Oh, no. Oops. 49ers. In division, you know, like, but it would be an upgrade for both these teams in division. It would be somewhat of an upgrade for, I don't want to say somewhat. I really like Kyler Murray. It'd be an upgrade for the Cardinals too, technically. But I feel like you're more certain in Kyler Murray. Not just because of his draft position being the first taken in that draft, with Brock Purdy being literally Mr. Irrelevant, the last one picked. But it could be a situation where it's like, yo, if we just, like, the way Shanahan, I mean, watching the Eagles win 2 in the past 10 years, and you've been there so many times, you've been so close, that's just tough with the 49ers. maybe they feel like, look, if we just had like a guy, because who's it been? It's been Kaepernick. Um, it's been Kaepernick, it's been Jimmy G, and then Brock Purdy in Super Bowls. So it's like if we just had like a Matt Stafford type. Now Brock Purdy, he did ball out in that Super Bowl. Got it to overtime. It was a crazy Super Bowl. I like Brock Purdy, and you're still not paying the kid. So that's another reason why it's unrealistic. But this 49ers team at full strength with Matt Stafford would go crazy, but unrealistic in division. And I mean, you guys are tied up with that bread. It took forever for you to pay Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk. You're trying to get rid of Debo now. You regret that one. Kittle seems like the only one that's really been worth it. Him and Trent Williams, really. You have to make a decision with your linebackers. Might lose Ward. Like you have a lot to worry about on the roster. Either way, it doesn't really matter. It's in division. Don't see them doing that in division. Even though I'm sure he'd love to stay in California, don't see it happening. That leaves us with 4. These are our best fits. I'm just start off with the Rams. So I'd like to see him stay. I think it's where he should retire. I think he needs to stop being stingy. Like, I get it. It's his money. As a man, like, I'm not going to count his money and be like, you don't deserve this money, especially when he balls out and he does deserve this money. But it's like, bro, you're come on, man. You have like 400 M's. We're this close. Like, do we have to do all these theatrics for negotiations? This is all it is. Stafford not leaving. But whatever. There's nothing else to talk about. Jets. Jets will be interesting. Aaron Rodgers is about to be out of there, and Matt Stafford is like, it's a very similar situation, except Matt Stafford presently is better than Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion. Aaron Rodgers didn't have a bad season, but in terms of the vibes and the seriousness and, just that, he won't bring that circus to New York if he were to go there. If they're able to keep that's number 7 pick, which, I mean, would you give up that pick for Matt Stafford, 7 overall? Because by then you're not really getting one of the premier players everybody loves in this draft, right? But at the same time, it is like number 7. Like, you have your pick of possibly probably not the first defender off the board, but maybe first skill position off the board, depending on how the draft order goes. Do you really want to do that? Either way, though, the Jets, like, there's a reason why we've been talking them up for a while. It's not just because they're in New York. If Aaron Glenn could get this defense back to form, you do have some pieces everywhere. Breece Hall, top 10 running back. Maybe like, you could argue like top 7, top 8. Then you have Garrett Wilson there. He's tied to all these changes, but I think Aaron Glenn could get him to buy in as a former Jet. But it's kind of similar to what I was saying with the Dolphins, a weaker division. So get Matt Stafford to buy in. Like, I think it's an underrated landing spot. I don't know how interested they're in, seeing as they just took on an aging quarterback, and how crazy would it be on some curse shit week 1 with Matt Stafford, even though he still got it in him, he just fucks up on that turf, pops his Achilles or something. But I think it's a pretty good fit, man. I think he'll be able to do some damage, especially with the new regime Aaron Glenn has going over there. I don't think it's going to be another Robert Saleh situation. I got a comment saying he's another Robert Saleh, which is crazy. I don't think so, but whatever. Vikings. I'm surprised I don't see this super often regarding Matt Stafford. With Sam Darnold, I'm assuming, honestly, I can see him going back, but at the same time, like, you what you got at the end of the year might have left a bad taste in the mouth. And it also kind of reminds you, like, look, we could get to 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 wins, but can this guy do it in the playoffs? Because we've been here before. We've been to the playoffs. Got to remember, the Vikings have no Super Bowls. They have no Super Bowls in their franchise history. And with Sam Darnold, like, yeah, you drafted J.J. McCarthy, but he's still in recovery mode. So I think this would be a dope situation. I mean, Matt Stafford throwing it to J.J., Jordan Addison, Hawkinson. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. Matt Stafford barely got like to use a prime Cooper Cup with a Puka Nakua for a full season. Like, we didn't really get to see that. So imagine JJ, like, love Puka, but he's no JJ. So imagine that with that Brian Flores defense. I mean, yo, if I'm Stafford, if there's anywhere I'm going, that's probably my favorite landing spot for him is the Vikings. And then J.J. McCarthy could sit there patiently and learn under him. He's only like 21 years old. He's super young, right? So, give him some time to recover. Don't have to throw him back in there. And now you have him learning behind Matt Stafford after he learned whatever from Sam Darnold. I think that would be amazing. I think it'd be an amazing pairing, and he'd be able to get him over the hump, similar to what Matt Stafford did with the Rams, where it was like, yo, we're keep coming up this close. We're winning a lot of games. We're making the playoffs. We just don't have that guy, and get Jared Goff the fuck out of here, Steelers need a quarterback. I'm not sure what they're doing with Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. I think that should just, I don't know. What are they doing, Russell Wilson? They can't run that back, right? They can't run that back. But yeah, I mean, the Steelers would be cool. I think the Steelers would be cool. This would be the most elite quarterback play they've gotten since like prime Big Ben. They've been in quarterback purgatory for some time. I can see them just rolling with Justin Fields. I think, Mike Tomlin had whatever handshake deal with Russell Wilson to give him that opportunity. I think towards the end of the year where he was struggling a bit, they should have just put Justin Fields out there for a spark. But at the same time, I don't think the roster currently constructed or previously constructed was ready to win it all anyway. But still, at least see what you got with Justin Fields after all those weeks off when he was playing in the beginning. Then you gave him some time on the bench, maybe something similar to that Bryce Young situation where he came and balled out like immediately. But yeah, I think the Steelers would be pretty smooth. Still would need another receiver, but if you take a team with Mike Tomlin who never has a below 500 record, damn near guaranteed a playoff spot. All you need is one playoff run, and Matt Stafford's your guy to do that. So I like this landing spot as well. Those are my top two. The Jets one's like, it's okay, I guess. But I really like the Vikings. I really like the Steelers, and definitely the Rams. Definitely the Rams. Hopefully he just stays there. I think, they could be right back in the mix. Once again, I think this is just negotiations, but hey, it's something to talk about once again, So, yeah, that's it for that. Matter of fact, like and subscribe. We're going to have our first pre-free agency mock draft. We're going to have Austin back. He's been grinding the film. He's been doing this thing. But, he had to recover after that Eagles Super Bowl. We weren't too happy about that one at all. But, yeah, we'll be back. I might do something similar for Myles Garrett without all the teams, just like my favorite destinations or whatever. But got some more off-season content cooked up. I'll be back with you.